At IHM VCU, we've always been here for you. You are and always will be our top priority. We care about your financial health, and we are here. IHM VCU is a proud supporter of WQPT.
The future. That's where our minds are at Western Illinois University Quad Cities. We are innovators, searching for something new outside of the textbooks. Dog-loving, leadership-driven, world-changing. Whether you choose to study on campus or online, your future is designed on your terms. Start your future at wiu.edu/QC.
Public Affairs programming on WQPT is brought to you by the Sing Group at Merrill, serving the wealth management needs of clients in the region for over 35 years.
Davenport Schools setting up some big academic goals for the coming year. How the biggest school district in the region plans to do that in the cities. About 14,000 students are back in the classroom throughout the Davenport School District, but how many of them will still be there at the end of the school year? And how will their achievements stack up against other students across the state and the nation? Those are big worries for Davenport school administrators as they face new state mandates and an initiative of their own making called the Growing Excellence Plan. We sat down with Superintendent TJ Schneckloth to talk about the big changes in the city's largest school district. It is the start of a new school year. Your, favorite time of the year?
Absolutely, one of them, yeah.
Yeah, what was it like to have the kids coming back?
You know, this school year felt a lot like pre-COVID. So,
right.
You know, the happy faces down the hallway, you know, our sixth graders transitioning back. That's where I spent a lot of my time in the middle schools watching how that occurred. And it's just been a wonderful start to the school year. The weather has been pretty decent for us,
yeah.
and so I would say that this has been an incredibly strong start to the school year.
Well, and it takes you back to the time when you were in the schools every single day with the kids. That's got to be kind of nice and refreshing for you as well.
Absolutely, it's a wonderful time of year. You know, you have your marching bands and your athletics that are starting off again. You have your students that are excited. Picture that you put your backpack on, your fresh outfit. You're going to school,
Sure.
Seeing your friends that you haven't seen all summer long, and it's just a very exciting time for everyone in the community, and our parents that are bringing their kids to school and dropping them off, and it's just a beautiful time of the year.
It is also a lot of new things that are going on in the schools. And I want to talk about some of the state mandates in particular. One is the attendance policy and to eliminate truancy. It's got some parents a little nervous because their kids may not be able to be at school all the time. Tell me how the state mandate impacts Davenport schools, or was your policy already pretty clear?
Yeah, so our policy, what the state mandate is pretty similar to what we were already implementing. The difference is there's just a little bit of teeth behind it now, to where there are steps inside this policy where we have to turn over to the county attorney. So we have a meeting scheduled with the county attorney to determine, you know, what does this look like? What does it have? Because to your point, if you get sick and you're out and your grades are fine, how are you going to manage those situations? And so those are the kinds of things that we are looking for this. But I will tell you, when you talk to employers all across the country, number one thing they want is they want people to show up. And so attendance does matter. And so navigating those two different ideas with this new policy is going to be very important for us. Our buildings work with families when they're having troubles getting to school. We already do put together plans. We call families in the mornings. We try and see what barriers they're having to getting to school and help connect them with community agencies to tear down those barriers. The difference with this is that when it gets to a certain point, we're going to have to turn it over to the county attorney, and we have a meeting scheduled with our county attorney just to determine, like, what does that look like for us? Because there's a difference between people that are, may have been sick, and there's people that are like, I'm not sending my kid to school. That's what the true intent of the law is. That's not okay. You have to send your children to school. And so that's what we're going to learn to navigate this year with that new law.
The thing with state laws is it's black and white. And the thing with school districts, there's so many gray areas.
Yes.
So, I mean, are you able to work around or work with the state law, or is it very strict?
It is very strict at what we're supposed to do. We are to turn those names over to the county attorney of those people that are chronically absent for the grading period. And so from there, we're just going to continue to work with our parents and families to make sure our students are coming to school. Because like I said before, attendance matters. Showing up and caring while you're there, those are the two number one things that we hear from employers. And our ultimate job is to create productive citizens in our communities. And so that's the intent of the law. And so from there, that's what all of our actions have to be wrapped around, just supporting our families, knowing and understanding how important it is to show up and care while you're there.
The other big change from state mandates has to do with the school books, the books that are in the library, and what is being taught, particularly whether it is too explicit for a child of a certain age. School districts were really waiting for the Department of Education, the State Department of Education, to say more clearly, what do you want? How do you want us to do it? Do you feel you have that now?
Well, this again is very similar to the attendance component. All of the things that how do you select books? How do you have a community member want to remove a book from a library? All of those things are there. It's just kind of highlighted it, brought it back to the top. For us, what the approach that we took in Davenport is, I met with legislators. Please help me understand the intent of this law. Please, because there are gray areas in it. And so what in the department...
But aren't you thankful there's gray areas?
We are thankful that there's gray areas in there. Now, what that does is when it's not black and white, we now have to decide the best path to move forward.
And it's open interpretation on your side as well as critics, as well as the critics' critics.
And as you've seen, some people said, no, we're going to ban everything that has this in there. Well, then you might catch a classic or a book that's being taught in a setting for, like a Catcher in the Rye. Just there's different books that you see pop up as controversial of why you would remove that book. For us, what we did is we interviewed our legislators that were very for this and got what is the actual intent? What is it you're trying to get out of the hands of our students? And so from there, it was that real explicit content, and then particularly where it doesn't meet the age appropriateness for the student. And so that's the kind of approach that we took, and that is in line with the law. And so those are the steps that we took to make sure that we are putting the right books in front of our students that can handle it age appropriately and can get some value out of those books without it being too much of a distraction or introducing them to something that they're not ready for.
The other big change for this school year involves the area education associations. A lot of people may not understand what the AEA does. In a lot of ways, it's a support for the local school districts. It has had a lot of impact when it came to special education, especially in rural school districts. How does that impact an urban school district such as Davenport's?
Well, when the law changed, what we're doing right now is we're working very closely with our AEA. So essentially, none of the special education services have changed. It's more of the other areas that the AEA provides to us. And so right now we meet monthly with our AEA. We're trying to determine a return on investment, a service delivery plan. We've selected the services that we want from the AEA. And from there, we're gonna take a look at the value that we're receiving from those services. And then we're gonna make a decision by the middle of December of what services do we plan to continue to purchase from the AEA as we move forward.
Yeah, and the local AEA was telling us exactly that. A return on investment, a return on the dollars is what they now have to look at almost from a business model rather than an education model. What in particular was changed when the AEA lost some of its funding and also was restructuring? I mean, they lost a lot of personnel that were involved in special education as well. Did Davenport hire some of those people? Because I know that some of these people moved into local school districts.
Yeah, since I've been in education, there's always been a dance between people going from the public schools to the AEA or the AEA back to the public schools. So there's always been that. that dance, because where else would you get a highly qualified educator? And so, so for us, yes, we did hire some AEA people. Some of the things that changed is that we now have control over what services that we want to provide at a higher level. And then we need to evaluate basically the cost benefit, the return on investment on those dollars that we have. So essentially, they took the general education dollars and said, school, you're now in charge of it. For the first year, we're going to give a percentage split. The AEA gets to keep that. And then after that, you get to 100% decide if you're going to keep buying these services from the AEA. And so one of the things I'll say, in Eastern Iowa, we're incredibly proud of our AEA. They for the last 10 years, have worked really hard to provide top-notch services for our students and families. And so for us, it's a difficult space to navigate because we were happy with the services that we were receiving. That might not be the case all across the state of Iowa. So that's one of the things that we have to evaluate over the next couple of years. And when you're dealing with human beings, in their position, their job, and things of that nature, it gets really difficult. And so, but I have confidence in the leadership, Shane Williams and Kim Hoffman at the Mississippi Bend AEA, that we will find the best path forward in this.
One of the last big changes the state gave was education saving plans, the school voucher program, as it's somehow called. What did you notice last year, and has it been, now that more families are eligible, did you notice any change yet? I know it's earlier in the school year for this school year.
Yeah, it's pretty early, and we're checking our enrollments all the time. It's just something that we keep our eyes on. But what we've done is we've taken a longer approach to this. So we did a long-range facility planning, and we did one of the reasons why we chose the company we did is because they were able to study birth rates, trends, and the local school districts around us, and including the private schools and the districts around us. What we think is going to happen is that unless there's going to be a brand new building built or added onto, we can see the capacity of all the districts around us. And in terms of open enrollment and savings accounts, people are not going to use those dollars to build or add on right away. So we think by 2029, our numbers, our population will begin to balance itself out, and it won't be such a drastic change, because each year of the educational savings accounts, as it rolls out, it's a new wave. And I believe, I'm not, quote me on this, but it's I think 3 years after that, it's just open to everybody.
I think it's 26.
26. So yeah. So once that time hits, then we'll be able to see exactly who is entering in. We'll have a predictable number at kindergarten. We'll have a predictable number at those transition times. You know, a lot of times we notice it right at the start of kindergarten, going to middle school, and then going to high school. One of the things that's interesting to us is our high school numbers are actually up this year. And so, you know, people are choosing Davenport because of the outstanding programs that we have. And that's exactly the mindset that we're going to take. We're going to try to offer the best programs that we have, because the climate in which we are in now is a competition, and that's the way we're approaching it. So that's kind of what we noticed. So it's been a gradual release, but we're also taking a peek at all of the districts around us and the parochial schools to see what is their actual capacity. And many of the parochial schools and districts around us are full at different grade levels. So we can see that this is going to start to balance out for us, and it's not going to be the avalanche that it currently is.
That some had feared as well. Let's talk about the Growing Excellence Plan.
Yeah.
This is a huge initiative by the Davenport School District to improve students academically. Give me an overview of what you're expecting by the end of this school year.
So it's
so much. I know. I apologize. And I was reading through it, and it's very specific, goal-oriented, which is what you want from your education system, it seems.
So I'll hit the highlights.
Please.
So one of the biggest things that we're working on this year is early literacy. We, for the last 3 years, have been training our teachers in letters training. Learning to read is an actual science. It's incredibly difficult, but it's an actual science. And so we've put our teachers, our early literacy teachers, through the best training in the country, and it's called LETTERS. I'm gonna mess this up. Language Essentials for the Teachers of Reading and Spelling. Thank you. That's what that stands for, and it is a very extensive training. And right now, the state of Iowa is pushing this training out.
They have decided that this is
the
process.
One.
Yes.
And so for us, we went out and found the best curriculum, which is also supported by the state of Iowa, that goes hand in hand with that learning. So it's one thing to get this brand new learning. You now have to have the tools associated with it. So in our schools last year we field tested it. This year we're implementing all across the district. So I'm incredibly excited about that. At our middle schools, we're going towards a middle school model and in our house model. So our students that come in, it was like I was talking before. I went to Williams, and I noticed that the 6th graders went in this door, and the 7th graders went in this door, and 8th graders went in this door, and they were in separate houses. And when you walk around the building, you notice that they're completely separated from one another. And when you go inside that house, those teachers have a common planning time where they get to talk about what does this child need, what does this child need. Hey, I can help with that. And so we believe that that's what's going to help prepare our students for that high school jump. In our high schools, we are really working hard to make sure that our students, the ABCs, the attendance, behaviors, and earning credits. And so our high schools have been studying for 2 years a system of how to implement when a student isn't getting what they need, how do we get it for them? Right now we're evaluating the change of our high school schedule. We're evaluating the different classes that our students may need to both enhance their learning and to help students recover any credit they may have. So our North Star is getting students to and through our graduation with some type of a certificate. And from there, our students can then become productive members of our society. So our Growing Excellence Plan is all surrounded around those areas. There's very lofty goals in there.
There are.
But we know that if we don't reach those goals, if they're not at the stars and we fall a little short, then we're just going to keep going. And so if we don't reach those goals, but we show great growth, we're going to celebrate the heck out of that.
But it really seems that this is a critical, if not pivotal, school year, because you're going to test how well these programs work, and you're going to, for lack of a better way of saying, tweak them for the next school year to improve even more. I mean, is that the way you see it? Is that the Growing Excellence Plan for the 24-25 school year could set the future for this generation of education?
Oh, you said it perfectly. That's exactly what we think.
You can use that line.
I'm going to, actually.
All right.
That's exactly what we believe. Generational change. Now, that doesn't happen in a semester. That doesn't happen in a year. So one of the things that when we go about setting our Growing Excellence Plans, we're using implementation science. And it's very clear if you want something highly implemented, there's clear steps. The first thing to do is that teachers need time to explore these tools and explore this new learning. So they have the tools in their hands right now. How do I use this? And the best thing to do is surround our teachers and staff with the appropriate coaching while they're exploring that. Then we'll move through the different phases where we've mastered these tools and the systems. That's when we're going to see the growth that we need. So until we reach that spot, we have to scaffold for our students' learning, which means, this is the first year of this curriculum. So these 4th graders, when we're 3 or 4 years out, they will have had 2 or 3 years of learning of this. And so therefore, we have to kind of fill those gaps right now. And so we know that over the course of a couple of years, we're going to see that change that we want to see.
We could talk about this particular program for a long time, but I do have to move on. And I know another area that has been touted by Davenport Schools is what has happened with the John Deere Foundation. And I know you want to talk about this. The partnership with the Deere Foundation, University of Iowa, Davenport Schools, $6.6 million John Deere Scholars Program. It is going to make a difference in kids' lives starting immediately.
I wanted you to think about a family tree. When I think about this is what it is. A family tree can change in 4 years because of the generosity of the Deere Foundation and the willingness of the University of Iowa to wrap their supports, because they have wonderful supports. If you think if you're a first-time person going to college, all the paperwork that takes to fill out, and then when you get to that environment, it's incredibly scary. And students that don't have a network of human beings to help them, they have a tendency to, the data shows that you're less likely to get to and through that college degree. Well, that's what this is going to do. Now, the beautiful part about college, the university experience, is that when you go to college, your contacts open up greatly. I mean, some of my best friends, right now I have a friend I could call for just about anything that I would need, and it would come from those contacts from when I went to college or in high school. And so not only are you changing the mind by going to an excellent university and learning a new skill and really turning yourself into a fine human being, you're also opening your contacts. Now, take that on the back end and you don't have the debt of a college degree. Now you're investing in a home. Now you're investing in property. Your money, what you're doing with your money changes. So you think about how you change a family tree on a dime. Just turn it just like that. That's exactly what this is doing. And the most exciting part about this from the Deere Foundation is they don't want to stop here. University of Iowa, they don't want to stop here. They want this to be a playbook that anyone can follow. And that's how you change a community. And that's what makes this so exciting.
As we should have, we've talked about what's going on inside the buildings, but let's talk about the bricks and mortar for a second here as well, because New Sudlow Middle School as well as Smart Intermediate. Tell me about, I like the smile on your face. So I mean, the ability to reinvest in school buildings is so critically important right now, and there's money to do it now.
Absolutely. We are so incredibly excited about these new learning environments. I talked earlier about the middle school concept. All of our middle schools are going to have this house concept, and these schools are being built with that concept. Reinvesting in these two areas in our community, when we did our facility study, reinvesting here was incredibly important for us. I want to kind of talk about one real fun thing that we're going to, the schools, the bricks and mortar, they're going to be beautiful. When you drive down Locust Street or you drive down in the West End, your eyes will be drawn. These are going to be beautiful buildings. One of the things that we are really trying to do is make that connection to high school so students can see where they're going. I'm going to be a Blue Devil, or I'm going to be a Falcon, I'm going to be a Wildcat. So at Sudlow, the students come in. Sudlow's known for its orange. Those colors.
I didn't think of that, but you're right.
They're known for that. So when the main colors of that building are going to start out in the Orange Crush, right? But as you make your way up to the upper floors, you're going to see some of this Blue Devil blue start to peek in. And the language is going to be, next year when you go to class, you're going to be picking your pathway. And so they start weaving in that brand of the Buddha. Same thing down at Smart. That black and gold down at Smart has been there for a long time. But as you start moving your way deeper into the building, closer to high school, you're going to see some of those Falcon colors start to show up. And so that's a beautiful design, but it's designed with intentionality because we want our students to see where they're going. We want them to start making plans. We want them to see where their future is.
Our thanks to Davenport School Superintendent T.J. Schneckloth. Jonathan Turner is just as comfortable behind a computer keyboard as he is behind a musical one. An accomplished journalist and writer, Jonathan joined us on the stage of Molene's Black Box Theater to perform one of his originals. Here's Jonathan Turner with Just a Midwest Boy.
Just a Midwest boy and a Jersey girl, alone in New York, alone in the world. Night after night, the boy and girl wondered if they'd ever find the one, or would their hungry hearts be forever born to run. They thought, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? To share with me the rest of my life. just a Midwest boy and a Jersey girl. One day they met online, they let their feelings unfurl. With the touch of a mouse they clicked, got together the very next day. The date she was born, on their date she was reborn to stay. She felt, I found you, I found you, I found you, I found you for the rest of my life. Just a Jersey girl and a Midwest boy. She gave him hope, he brought her joy. Then one afternoon in June, she asked him to be his bride. Though it was raining out, the sunshine streamed inside. He said, I love you, I love you, I love you, and I love you for the rest of my life. Now we're so happy to be here on your wedding day, to bask in your glow and let you know that we love you, 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 and we'll love you for the rest of our lives.
Jonathan Turner with Just a Midwest Boy, performed at Moline's Black Box Theater. On the air, on the radio, on the web, on your mobile device, and streaming on your computer. Thanks for taking some time to join us as we talk about the issues on the cities.
At IHM VCU, we've always been here for you. You are and always will be our top priority. We care about your financial health, and we are here. IHM VCU is a proud supporter of WQPT.
The future. That's where our minds are at Western Illinois University Quad Cities. We are innovators, searching for something new outside of the textbooks. Dog-loving, leadership-driven, world-changing. Whether you choose to study on campus or online, your future is designed on your terms. Start your future at wiu.edu/QC.
Public Affairs programming on WQPT is brought to you by the Sing Group at Merrill, serving the wealth management needs of clients in the region for over 35 years.